Welcome back for Shot of Shari. In the last video on moving forward and actually creating change in your life and business, I covered the idea of commitment, which is a big one, and you can go back and watch that one. Here's the thing, we get all committed, we decide we're not just going to make declarations, we're actually going to do something every single day to move us forward, and then this little niggling thing called fear kind of creeps up. Now, before we make the commitment, we don't even anticipate that the fear is going to get in our way because we're so busy with the big vision and the big goal, and this is what I want, and you get that adrenaline rush of, I'm finally ready to move forward because I know the direction I want to move in. So once you define your direction, you have that high, then your brain kind of starts playing with the fact that no one stays on a high. I mean, there is a psychological perspective of something that's called habituation. So we can't stay in a certain state for any long period of time. We end up adjusting to whatever's there. That's the reason why you can't stay surprised, excited, in complete bliss all the time. And you also can't stay in fear all the time. So once your commitment is made and the fear starts to creep up, it's going to hold you back from actually sticking with that commitment, doing the small actions, finding those small wins, unless you face the fear. Now, this may sound counterintuitive because most people will tell you, don't play out your worst case scenarios, just stay positive, which is for another day. But you have to take a look at what's actually making you afraid. If you don't look at what's making you afraid, then everything will make you afraid because then you're unclear. The best way to move through fear is to distinguish that you are not your fear. Your fear is just an emotion, a physical reaction added with an emotion that's there to keep you safe. So that's just the definition of what it is. When you have a barrier in front of you, you're going to have the excitement of wanting to push forward and the fear that's going to want to hold you back. Now, it's up to you if you decide which way you're going to go. So if you want to push forward, you have to respectfully act towards the fear as though it's something that can hold you back. You are more empowered than the fear. So acknowledge what it is, understand what's behind it, lay out what your worst case scenario would be so that you realize you're not in a minefield. You're actually in a space that I don't want to die. As long as anything I do until I don't want to die happens, I'm cool. So if you don't want to die, don't die. But don't let the little fears that will hold you from taking the big moves keep you from starting to move. The ironic thing is once you start to move, once you start to master what you're afraid of in small moves, you're afraid of visibility, do it in small baby steps. You're afraid to sell smaller packages. Slowly and incrementally move towards the results that you want, because in that journey is when you get that strong courage muscle, when you get less afraid, when you start to believe those fears less. So the goal is not to abolish fears altogether. That's not realistic. We all live with them every day because we're human beings and it's how we're hardwired. But to understand your fears differently, take that commitment, hold it up against the fear, and practically say to yourself, who am I going to let win this? I want to win with my commitment. So that means I get to look at my fear and use it as fuel. If you're afraid to fail, use it as lessons. Take it as data. Try things. If they don't work, adjust. Be more flexible with yourself in this commitment so that it doesn't need to look a certain way, because if you have it a set way in your head and it doesn't go that way, you're going to head back to the past, which is the last place you want to go. So work on those fears. The reason I'm so fired up about fears today is because I just taught a masterclass all about fear and what to do about it in my private Facebook group. So if you want to have the replay of that, I'm going to put the link to my Facebook group down below. It's free to join. Just ask for access and you can catch the replay of a 40-minute Shari ramble about fear and how to move it out of the way. But the goal after is commitment. Then we have to face the fears. Tomorrow I'm going to come back with another tip. Hope you have a great day.